Okay, this time we are doing sanctuary trunk training for real.
There was just a bit of a temporal mishap.
Temporal
It actually did happen in the correct order.
Exactly. Okay, so this is the basics of sanctuary and how we fit into Flipside in general. So if I'm correct, we are actually the first burn that has had a mental health safety team ever and fit it in. I don't think that even Burning Man has a sanctuary safety team. They have
Green Dot Rangers.
They have Green Dot Green Dot Rangers and Zendo Project. And Zendo Project is not part of their safety team. They're a camp.
They're a nonprofit organized by the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies. Super good group.
Say that again a little bit more slowly and a little bit louder.
Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies. It's a nonprofit that does research into psychedelics for beneficial uses and also psychedelic support. Yep.
Sweet. Okay. So that actually is a little different than our purpose because they're doing research.
Well, the Zendo Project is a subset of theirs, and they are basically sanctuary. They are mental and psychological support for people in these experiences. The organization as a whole is more just for spreading psychedelic awareness and safety.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so everybody that comes into our tent, they are participants. They are not clients because we are not doctors. We are not any of that. They are participants. They are participants that are having a rough go of times. And our saying, our purpose this year is breathe, ground, and go. At one time it was breathe, ground, and grow. And that was when we were bushes and trees. And I'm not sure what MHAs were.
MHAs, I think so.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. And the reason I personally changed it from breathe, ground, and grow to go is because we're not helping them grow. That is not our job. We don't want them to grow with us. We want them to go. We want them to go and go play again. Breathe, go back to their ground level, and go. Get out, go play, go have fun, go to sleep, go wherever they're gonna go, but go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. A short-term place. They do not stay. So volunteers are the ticket holders. We are volunteers. We can use sanctuary. If we are having a rough time, we can go into sanctuary and say, I'm having a rough time. I need somebody to talk to. Right? You guys use me. Even if I'm not on shift, which for the most part, I won't be on shift. Like I think I'm taking Thursday morning and Monday morning. Other than that, that's it. But you guys can always use me. But everybody. In fact, we want to encourage other safety teams to use sanctuary because we want to help everybody have a better experience. We want to give our gift to the community, which is giving everybody a better experience. We want you guys to let us know as your leaders, how can we make you as volunteers, have a better experience? I want you guys to come back. I want you guys to bring new people to us. I don't want to do this for 10 years. I want one of you guys to take over for me. This actually is pretty fun. It is, but I definitely don't want to do this for 10 years. I want there to be good turnover. I want people to come, enjoy themselves, stay, move up through leadership, keep going. So that means you guys need to enjoy it. That means if you're not enjoying it, you have to tell me. If you don't tell me that you don't like something, I can't fix it. I'm making guesses with things like, oh, it was really hot. Last year, I saw everybody sitting at Sanctuary when it was 107 degrees heat index. That's why I'm assuming we need umbrellas and cooling towels. That is just an assumption because nobody said anything. I'm making an informed guess. Please, if there's something that you need to make this day better. The other thing that I'm assuming is we are right next to the cornfield, and at around sunset, we are directly in the sun, and there is no barrier there. So I'm looking at, do we need blackout curtains to be able to fold up during the day to get some breeze in and to drop down at night to block that blinding heat gun of a sun to give us a little bit of relief, because these are just educated guesses because nobody's saying anything. You guys have to give me feedback. Feedback is amazing. Don't overdo it. It is real easy. It is real easy to put too much time into volunteering and give 100 hours to Flipside. Yeah, be careful. I know we ask for 2 6-hour shifts. Be gentle during those 2 6-hour shifts. If you need to not be out and about, if you need to be at sanctuary and sitting and with a cooling towel on yourself the entire time, I promise people will come to us. I promise rangers and pets will bring people to us, right? If you need to not be one of the people that's out road ranging, that's fine. Be gentle, do what you can do. I know somebody has a bum knee. She doesn't need to be out and about. Do what you can do. If you want to be out ranging because you have ADD and you can't sit, and you're like, my God, if you make me sit here the entire 6 hours, I'm gonna go crazy and I'm gonna kill somebody. You go. You go do. You go take care of yourself. So we actually, strangely enough, are one of the largest safety teams. I didn't do a big count, but I think we have over 50 volunteers or 60 volunteers. We have a pretty big team. We haven't had that many dropouts yet. We'll see. We have, I think, 25 volunteers that haven't signed up for a shift. So we'll see. We only have about 12 shifts left that need to be taken, which if people take 2 shifts, that means we only have about 6 people that need to take shifts. So we'll see how many people drop out.
How many listeners do you have on your shift?
It depends on the shift. We have between 5, 3 to 7-ish. Yeah. So we'll see how many people actually drop out. And I might add a few just so because people keep coming in and saying, I want to volunteer. And I want to give them space to volunteer. Yeah, it does not hurt to have extras at all. We might not have t-shirts for them. We'll see. But they can shadow. They can absolutely shadow. Don't be afraid to let your voice be heard. Be gentle about it. Don't say, well, now I think this training is going to be ridiculous. That may not be the best way to have me hear your voice. But definitely, if you think there's a better way for me to do something, I absolutely want to hear your feedback. I know that I'm not perfect. There's a reason that I brought my husband in here last night and said, hey, do you mind helping set up the computer to get this done? Because I knew that he would have feedback from me, and I knew that he would help me do it the best way that could be done to get everything set up and heard and all the jazz. So if you guys have something that you're like, hey, this would be better, I think this would make Sanctuary even better, please tell me. And just know, without you guys, we can't have a sanctuary. So don't feel like, even though there's a bunch of people, that you aren't important. Sanctuary offers a flip side, the psychosocial support and counseling. No, not counseling. I need to fix that. We are not counselors. Psycho support and listening. We are not here in a professional manner in any way, shape, or form. Even the professionals, which I don't know any of the other burns have professionals. I have it set up so that all of our MHAs are licensed, either nurses, acupuncturists, LCDCs, LCSWs or LPCs. So we are licensed and have mental health experience in some way, shape, or form. Other burns, I don't think, do that. Because we are pretty big, and we do get some interesting cases like trees falling on people and dosings and all these things. I do like having that level of knowing if some shit goes down, I know that if something happens, Deeds or Wendy Bird can handle it.
I think a perfect example of that was, I think it was 2 years ago. It was one of those ships I was on MHA 4. We had this report of a child missing. Oh, big deal, right? Child's 18. Completely shifts the dynamic, right? And so we don't always know that. I think that as an MHA, it's pretty clear the confidentiality will shift.
Yeah.
A tree might, I think a tree would know that, but sometimes listeners don't.
Yeah, exactly. So what we want is Sanctuary to be a place where a participant can come in, breathe, ground, regroup, and regather themselves. We have a ton of tools that they can do that. We have games, we have water. I think we're gonna have electrolytes, which it would be, we have this, would you like it? Of course, we are not medical professionals, so we can't say, I think it would be a good idea if you take them. We just say we have this as an option, kind of like we have these snacks. Granted, the snacks are for us.
It's an important distinction.
Yeah. We have snacks for us. If you want snacks for you, you go back to your own camp. We will, but we have a pretty big list of stuff that we do offer for participants, and that includes a cart ride. We might not have our own cart, but I'm trying to remember who told me that they have carts readily available for us. I'm pretty sure it's the volunteer squad. That if we call the volunteer squad and say, hey, we have somebody who needs a cart ride, that they'll get us a cart, and they said they'll have carts instantly available.
How they screw us out of carts this year?
I don't know.
Honestly, sometimes that's all a participant needs is you get to look cool riding in your golf cart, you get some breeze,
Yeah.
you get to go where you're going. I'm just saying,
It totally fixes the
sometimes it's me right outside.
Ego booster.
Do not underestimate the healing properties of a cart ride. You have no idea. Do not underestimate the healing properties of a cart ride. The only people that are allowed to drive a cart are the trees and the MHAs. The trees should never be alone in the cart. I say the MHAs can be alone in the cart because I've taken the cart by myself, so. So our bottom line, each participant attends a burn to have fun. We wouldn't do it if it weren't fun. So our goal is to get the participants back to having fun. That is our goal. If not back to having fun, at least not being miserable, right? So our basic structure, our baseline person is the listener, right? That is the person who's going to be doing the majority of the interventions. You guys, listeners, are our warriors. You are like our best and most amazing people because you do all of our work. Because our trees are essentially our cat herders. They go in and set up the shift and like make sure we have water. And I'm serious, trees do more than that. Trees do way more than that, as our trees know. And our listeners are out there on the ground with people. Sometimes, often very literally, sitting on the ground and talking and helping and breathing and just making sure people get back to a good time. The tree is the resident experienced expert. Tree. And the shift lead. They're the person who is going to be the coordinator. They are coordinating with the MHA. They are coordinating with CACI. If the tree will always have a radio. They will be deciding who pairs up, who gets a radio. They will be making sure that the shifts run smoothly. They will do the shift exchanges. They do all of that stuff. The mental health admins so the tree is a 12-hour shift and the MHAs are a 12-hour shift. The tree is going to, for the most part, be at Sanctuary, unless they feel comfortable taking a walkabout, which hopefully they do have somebody that they can leave at Sanctuary to take a walkabout. And the MHAs are effectively on call. I would like the MHAs to be checking in at Sanctuary at least 2 to 3 times a 6-hour shift. And I would like MHAs to be giving trees at least a half-hour break a 6-hour shift. Like, come sit in Sanctuary, say, go into the AC and take a nap, go on walkabout, go do what you need to do, but take a break. Just because 12 hours in Sanctuary without a break is,
Too long.
yes, it's too long. But since we have the Ranger of the 12, I'm not quite sure how to fix that problem.
Yeah, no, I just meant that we should have breaks.
Yes.
Incorporated, not that it's
Yes.
too long, we should change it.
Absolutely, yes. So, while on call, or while the MHA is effectively the Sanctuary lead. So if a ICS event is kicked into action where the lead is put into play, that becomes the MHA. The MHA becomes the Sanctuary lead, right? If it's really, really bad, which hopefully it doesn't, then I would be put into play, which theoretically would never happen. We don't quite have an assistant lead this year. That's kind of mixed between Wendy and Stardust and Raina. And then of course we have participants, and that's everybody else. So the required trainings are the trunk training, which is this one. We just did ground control because we did them in the different order. The comms training. So if you guys have not done the comms training, that's going to be a read through. It's a pretty easy read through. If you are a listener, you are not required to have a radio. If you are not 100% comfortable having a radio, that's fine. I still want you to be familiar with the comms training because you will be next to somebody with a radio and you need to be familiar with what's happening on the radio. For example, if you hear break, 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 code orange vest, you need to know what that means. Does everybody in this room know what that means? No. Okay. Break, break, break means everybody shut up. We need all radio chatter to stop immediately. This is really important. It generally means something like there's a missing child, there's a medical emergency, something important is about to come through over the radio. A code orange vest is a critical event, such as a tree just fell on a camp, a fire, or something happens, and it means an ICS protocol needs to go into effect. So if you are not familiar with ICS, I'd love it if you could stay for the 45-minute training so that you know what to do. For Sanctuary, what we do is really simple. I'll run through what ICS is, and then I'll tell you what we do, which is really simple. Effectively, what listeners do is they make sure they have their shirt on. If you aren't on shift and you want to help, make sure you have your shirt on, and you go to Sanctuary HQ. That's it. Because the MHA goes to where it is, but the listeners go to HQ, and that's it. It's pretty simple. But you just need to make sure that you know what the radio chatter means and how to get a hold of somebody, even if you're not super comfortable with it. But you can read through the comms training And it's pretty short, it's pretty clear, pretty easy. So if you don't know, the links are available in a couple of places. If you don't have it, email me or put it on the Sanctuary page. Hey, Marissa, I don't have the link. And I will post it on the Facebook page again, because everybody should have access to that link. And I will post it again and again and again.
I think we did some sort of comms training that.
And ICS training. The reason ICS training is so important is because that is how we interact together as safety teams. That is how we use a common language and a common interagency effectiveness if something really big goes down. It's how we make sure that we work together effectively and we're not all running around like chickens with our heads cut off. If a tree does fall, or if the land does flood, or the things that have happened, we have something in place that we automatically know what to do. Okay, we need to have no more than one participant than one volunteer in Sanctuary. If we have more than one participant to one volunteer in Sanctuary, the first person that you call is the MHA. You know, the tree should be aware of this. The tree's going to be keeping an eye on this. The tree should, if the tree sees this getting out of hand, the first person they'll call is the MHA. The next person that we call is CACI.
We'll have mobile out, right? Call them in first.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll call all of our people in and get them in, and then if we're getting out of hand, then we call CACI and pets if we have to, and then heck, shaving apes if we have to.
Slumming it.
We have to have a volunteer with a radio in Sanctuary at any given time. Usually that's going to be the tree, but not always, because like we said, the tree does get to go on walkabout. Sitting in Sanctuary for 12 hours is enough to make anybody go a little cuckoo, just a little. We interact with everybody that comes to Sanctuary, even drive-bys. We will have a drive-by notebook, and it's just a little notebook that we just mark down who comes in, and it weirds me out that when I come and say hi to people and be like, hi, everybody, I'm marked down as a drive-by. Because I'm like, don't mark me down. Don't write that down.
Are you writing everything I say?
Where's that go?
But yes, even when Sanctuary comes and somebody says, can I pick up my shirt? Not until your shift. Yeah, we do write down all of our drive-bys, and we interact with everybody. You know, welcome to Sanctuary. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? All the things. We interact with everybody because we are that team. We are those people. The tree oversees the paperwork, and each time it is above a drive-by, if we use any resource, if we're going to have I actually brought them this time, Sanctuary Incident Report. Da, da, da. They are more lengthy than I would like them to be, and I don't see an amazing way to pare them down. They are relatively self-explanatory. You do not use a name on here. There's no place for a name. You use you do use their description in case they come in really altered and maybe they run away and we need to track them down, and we do use their camp. So let's say they come in and they're kind of altered and they leave and we want to go check on them, and they come in and they say, and they have, a tattoo of a green penguin eating a lion on their arm, and they say they're from chair camp. And they get up and they go, I'm fine. And you go, all right, hey, Money Bird, do you mind going with Deeks and you guys just check him out at Chair Camp? And he's the guy with the, penguin and the eating the line. And can you go just make sure he gets back to his camp?
I have a question. When you say if we use a resource, define resource, because a resource could be our listening ears.
Water. And an actual physical resource, a game, or I'm going to say if we spend more than 10 minutes with them as well.
Yeah.
So it is a pretty easy thing to, it's very self-explanatory. It's just long. It's long. And then if an MHA gets involved, I did not pull the MHA one out. If an MHA is involved, there is an MHA attachment that goes with it. So the tree is responsible for making sure this gets filled out. It is nice if the listener fills out what they did, but we do have paperwork. We keep it for about 2 years, 2 to 3 years. It's not, this isn't a medical record. It's not like we are scanning it and keeping it for 20 years and keeping track of it and all the things. Wear your gear. Unfortunately, the tree has to be the heavy and make sure everybody, including the MHAs, wear their gear. That is not referring anybody in this room. I have not had problems with anybody in this room doing that. But everybody has to wear their t-shirts. You can alter your t-shirt to fit you in a way that is comfortable as long as it is covering your parts. Your parts need to be covered. We want people to be comfortable with us. That means that we need to be wearing preferably shorts that are at least halfway down the thigh. You want to be wearing closed-toed shoes. You don't know what you're going to be walking through. You want to be wearing closed-toed shoes and socks. I promise. Closed-toed shoes. We will have sunscreen, but you'll want to be wearing sunscreen. When we say be at your baseline, take your medications. That does not mean don't take your regular medications. Take your regular medications. If you take an anxiolytic regularly for your anxiety, that's your baseline. Take your regular medications. Don't come in and go, well, they said be at baseline and don't take drugs. So I didn't take my lithium for today.
So sad.
No, if you're supposed to be taking lithium every day, take your lithium. That's okay. Do not wear anything that has curse words in it, please. Just be respectful to the position. This isn't necessarily a job, but be respectful to the volunteer position. I will highly recommend a hat. I will highly recommend bringing an umbrella. We do have dollar store umbrellas. They are probably worth exactly what we paid for them. If you are working a night shift, I will highly recommend bringing some sort of headlamp because you know exactly how well Flipside is lit. We do not have headlamps. I might go buy some dollar store headlamps, but then you know exactly how well they're probably worth exactly what I paid for them. Or maybe I'll get some free ones from Harbor Freight. And then they'll be exactly what I paid for, worth exactly what I paid for them. Bring a water bottle. We have stickers to put on your water bottles. The cups that we have at Sanctuary are for participants. They are not for us. We will have water. We will have electrolytes. Use the electrolytes. The electrolytes are for you. The snacks are for you. The cups are not for you. Bring a water bottle. Heck, bring a Camelback. If we run out of water, the tree will go get more water. If we run out of ice, Any of us can go up to ICE and say, hey, I need a bag or two of ice. It's for Sanctuary, and they'll mark it down. We get free ice from ICE. Greet each participant in the fashion of our people. Hi, my name is Foxfire. Welcome to Sanctuary. Okay, maybe not like that.
That is in the language of your people, to be fair.
What?
That is in the language of your people, to be fair.
My people?
I've heard you use that voice before.
We do need at least two. So the MHA will have a radio, the tree will have a radio, and one partner on Walkabout will always have a radio. Right? You cannot go on Walkabout without having a radio, and nobody will ever be. Okay, let's try that again. Nobody will ever be alone. Thank you. We are never alone. We always have a partner, especially if we are with a participant, right? I, as an MHA, have been alone with a participant. It probably has been risky.
So just to clarify, if we have 3 people in Sanctuary, one person wants to run back to their camp to get a sandwich or something, is that okay?
Yeah,
That alone sense, because they're just
or to go to the
Doing text, right.
bathroom, or yeah. But if you are on Walkabout,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I think to call Brave out, I think last year, I was doing a DJ shift at K-Flip, and Brave kept for 2 hours, and Brave used the restroom twice, and I was like, hey, where's your partner? And she's like, why are you messing with me? I gotta pee. Because I'm mean like that. And we are professional. I know we are not, this is not a job, but we are representing the safety teams. We are the cute, fluffy Sanctuary safety team. We're also the redheaded stepchild of safety, and I want to stop being the redheaded stepchild of safety. We are the safety team that the other safety teams dump people on because they don't want to deal with them. One, I want our trees to stop letting that happen. And when somebody tries to drop somebody off that is unconscious or unable to give consent to come to Sanctuary or actively vomiting, if you are a listener, get the tree. If you are uncomfortable being the heavy and saying, unfortunately, you cannot bring that person into Sanctuary, they cannot give consent, or they cannot be cleared by medical. Oh, I'm medical and they're cleared. No, you cannot. They cannot come into Sanctuary. If you are uncomfortable being the heavy, get the tree. If the tree is uncomfortable being the heavy, get the MHA. If they're uncomfortable being the heavy, get me. I have no problem being a heavy. I promise. None whatsoever. But we have to start being the heavy, because we are kind of the redheaded stepchild of the safety teams, which means we do need to be professional. If we're not professional, we will continue to be the redheaded stepchild of safety. We will continue to get people dumping all the people that they don't want on us. We've got to be professional. We have to know when to ask for help. You guys don't have to handle everything that is thrown your way. I know that I am terrible about this, especially as lead. I am really bad about asking for help. I'm ridiculously bad about saying, guys, I can't handle all of this by myself. We have no echelon lead this year, and so now all of a sudden, all the lambs have to be made by our team, and I'm going, okay, I gotta do this. Okay, I can do this. Okay, I can do it. No, I can't. No, I can't. We've got 4 weeks to get this done. No, I can't. I cannot get everything else done that needs to be done in my life, and everything that needs to be done for Sanctuary, and make the lambs, and. And make all the cute fun things that I want to make for Sanctuary.
I hear you saying our consent is important too,
What do you mean?
to come into Sanctuary, like us consenting to, like if I'm not in that space to interact with that participant, like that's my consent as well, right, of engaging in that interaction, and if I can't do that, then I can pass it on to someone else.
Can you explain that a little bit more for me, please?
No. Sorry.
Would somebody else be willing to explain that a little bit more for me, please?
Yeah, we have the right, we're like Burger King, we can refuse the right to serve anybody and pass it on, well, unlike Burger King, we gotta pass it on to somebody else, but if there's a participant that you've had personal drama with that you don't think you could interact with, or if you had somebody come up in a MAGA hat and you didn't think you could deal with them, or whatever the case, for whatever reason, if you don't think that you're able or wanting to handle that, you can pass it along.
If the words cross your mind, I can't handle this, because in your personal hula hoop, you are triggered for whatever reason and you cannot handle this, because you are not alone. You're not alone. You can either kick it across or you can kick it up. You are not alone. Thank you for bringing that up, Monday. Okay. Shift gatherings. Please come to your shift 15 minutes early. Part of this is a lot of you, in order to get a radio, you need to have your ID. You need to have your legal ID. How many people here have done the walk of shame because they have forgotten their legal ID and had to go back to their tent to get it in order to get their radio?
The sprint of shame.
The back of the golf cart sludge.
I have watched an LLC member have to do the walk of shame to go back to their tent to get their ID. So if you come 15 minutes early, you are not late. Forgotten your ID to get your radio. Also, you just kind of want to get the lowdown on what happened the shift before. If there's somebody still in Sanctuary, like let's say there's somebody that's taken 15, 20 minutes in the AC monkey hut and they're still there during cross shift, which has happened during our Wendy Bird's cross shift and my cross shift, then we want to tell them what's going on, so that I don't leave and Wendy Bird walks in and there's somebody in there and she has no idea why they're in there. She has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know if they're okay. And
There might be things that you don't write down on that sheet that I might need to know.
Right. So we need to have this cross shift. It does get a little chaotic because I think our cross shifts are all at the same time. We have tried to have staggered cross shifts before, and I think that got chaotic too. It does get chaotic. It does get to be a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We try to make it as simple as possible. We do try to make it as easy as possible. And please come 15 minutes early to your shift. Do bring your government ID. Greet your tree. Know who your tree is. Your tree has their own protocol. Your tree has their own list of things that they need to do to make sure that their shift gets off to a good start. Your MHA has their list of things that they need to do to get their shift off to a good start. Greet your fellow listeners. Get to know your shift. These guys are going to be your friends. I will tell you that, especially if this is your first year at Flipside, especially if this is your first year volunteering, you guys are making good friends. This is a great way to make friends. This is a great way to expand your Flipside circle. So just start by saying hello. If you are getting a radio, the Echelon trailer, when you see the map, which will come out soon, it's amazing. Nobody has asked when is the map going to come out, and it's already been sent to the theme camp leads, so we already have it.
Very exciting.
and nobody has said that they need any major changes, so it should actually be posted soon. Like, it's insane. This year is okay. So we have
We're
to
happy with our placement.
I'm super stoked about this.
we have to knock on wood, because so far things are going fairly smooth. So we have to knock on some serious woods. But when you see where sanctuaries, when you see where safety headquarters is placed on the map, if you're looking at the map, sanctuary is going to be at the far right behind K-Flip. Echelon will be at the far left, and they will be facing the outer edge of it. So you will walk around to the far left of it and enter from the end.
Is this near where it was last year? Or is it a
Yes.
different one?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Facing ice, pretty much.
Yeah.
Into
Echelon, not sanctuary.
Yeah.
Echelon. Yeah. Echelon.
Clarifying.
Clarified. It'll be a trailer that you walk into, and you'll go, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah." If you don't have, I don't know what we're doing. We'll see what we do about lambs. I'm hoping that we'll have lambs to be able to give everybody. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting this year since we don't have an echelon lead.
We should land help.
Yes,
So
I was going to bring the
send
box
it.
today, and then I looked at the box and went, "It's a big bottle of nope." But you'll walk in and say, "Hi, my name is blah, 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 and I need a radio," and you'll hand them your ID, and he'll hand you a radio, and he or she, and then you'll head back over to Sanctuary, and you will start your shift. The big thing about radios is we never, ever, 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 ever take them into the blue box. Because if you take them into the blue box and you drop them into the blue water,
You get blue arm.
because you get to fish them out of the blue box. Or you get to pay $500 for a new radio.
Do they still work after you take them out?
They usually just float on the turds.
Also, if you're getting a $500 radio, it probably has weather seals over most of the ports.
Yes. So you want to probably not take your radio into the blue box. You
Give
probably
it to your partner.
give it to your partner. Also be aware that you don't want to have sex with your radio on. Somebody has done that.
I've heard stories.
If you're gonna bring this up, just put me on pause, but participants taking naps in sanctuary, and what are your general thoughts on allowing people to sleep off, how long?
20 minutes max.
Okay.
MHAs are not allowed to nap in sanctuary. Trees are.
You're talking more participants,
I'm talking
right?
participants, yeah.
Participants, 20 minutes.
And then the goal would be to get them back to their camp
Yes.
to continue resting if they need to.
Yes. Yeah, 20 participants can come in, 20 minutes to ground. And then by then, if they're not grounded, then they need more than us.
Okay.
Yeah. And this was decided after that year. Yeah. And if you want more than that, we can talk about it after this training. But yeah, participants get 20 minutes in our air conditioning to ground, cool off, get comfortable, and then they can go to Sparkadelica or Fan Camp or any other camp that has a cooling area to cool off, or a magic cart ride, or any of the things. We do accept everyone, and we do accept everyone unless they are actively aggressive or they are seeking somebody that is in sanctuary. If they say, "I want to talk to Wendy Bird," I keep using poor Wendy
Yeah, that's
Bird
okay.
as my example. So let's say Wendy Bird is back in the air conditioning, and somebody comes in and says, "I want to talk to Wendy Bird. Is she here?" I don't know. Let me go check. I'm gonna come back out and I'm gonna go, I didn't see her. Would you like me to give her a message if she does come, even if she's there? I'm gonna say, I didn't see her. Would you like me to give me a message if she does come? If she's not, I mean, no matter what, my answer is I did not see her. Would you like to give me a message if she does come? Well, can I wait here? I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because that person may be in sanctuary trying to avoid that person.
Right,
More often than not.
right. Well, I want to wait here. This isn't a good place. This isn't a place to wait for people.
I can, if they come by, I can let them know where you'll be waiting for them.
There you go. Right. That is the one person that is not allowed to wait at sanctuary. And that is the one person that you very subtly, if you are tree, you look at the other person with the radio and like go, or if you are the tree, they're giving you the,
This would also be the more detailed drive-by report than your
Mhm.
usual
yeah.
maybe stop by.
Drive-by report, so many hippies, more hippies.
We have several amenities to help out, and that's because that's what we do. We're kind of the give them Band-Aid. We don't have Band-Aids, but you know, Pets doesn't like to be the give them the Band-Aid, but that's kind of what we are. Like, give them the Band-Aid. Here's your Band-Aid. Go have fun. Have your Band-Aid. Go have fun. We do want to make sure that they are slightly happier or in a better mood than when they're brought to us. Make sure you are aware of your own breath. Breathe, ground, go. I cannot help somebody else breathe if I am not breathing. Slow, deep, intentional breaths. If they're not breathing, telling them to take a breath is probably not a good idea. Say, I'm not breathing. I'm going to take a breath. Would you take a breath with me?
That's the join and follow to lead stuff that we were talking about.
Join and follow to lead. I'm not breathing. Would you take a breath with me? I'm thirsty. Would you like a drink of water?
I also like to make my breath a bit louder than normal so they can hear it.
It is really interesting. One of the biggest therapeutic tools that I have is just, I don't even say anything. I just now, I have a pretty trained clientele. I will admit that. I've trained my clients up pretty well. Because they'll go, you're not breathing. And then 3 sessions later, I'll just go. But all I have to do is take a deep breath. Now I'm lightheaded because I'm breathing so much. But it is one of the biggest therapeutic tools I have is to take a really deep, big breath. And about 85% of the time, they follow me. It's a pretty good tool. The next one is grounding techniques. One of the simplest ones and weirdest ones that you will ever see is push your big toe into the ground. Push your left big toe into the ground. And take a big breath. What this does is if I'm spinning in my head and wandering out or cycling or doing whatever else, it makes me more aware of my big toe. That's all it does. It makes me more aware of my big toe. And then if that doesn't work as well as I wanted to, if it only works half as well, now push your right big toe into the ground and take a deep breath. The silly things often are the simplest. Another one is, would you do me a favor and tell me 4 things that are red that you can see in this room? Green is going to be way too simple, as is purple. Because everything's going to be green. And we're all going to be wearing purple.
Grounding is all about getting us out of our head and back into our body.
Yes.
And so while the big toe thing is like, why do I want to focus on my big toe? Because now I focus on my body instead of what's going on in my head.
And so the next one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so if I say, will you do me a favor and tell me 5 red things that you can see? And I like red just because you have to focus a little bit to find 5 red things. So I see Wendy's nails, I see the bag, I see the lid, I see your shirt, and I see your shirt. Okay, what are 4 things that I can feel touching my skin? Okay, I can feel the paper, I can feel my shoes, I can feel the chair, and I can feel the tissue. What are 3 things that I can hear? I can feel you rubbing, I can hear you tapping, and I can hear the air conditioning. Smell's gonna be harder because I'm nose blind to the space. Anybody got 2 smells for me?
I haven't smelled anything in months.
Great season for smelling.
I can taste the anti-nausea meds that I just took. So it's good taste.
So you go through your 5 senses.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, escalating down.
And if you can't remember the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the 2 hardest are going to be taste and smell.
And they're interchangeable. It doesn't have to be smell and then taste. It can be taste or smell
And
in order.
the easiest, of course, is see. And then hear and feel are interchangeable. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you don't have to remember them exactly.
It even works for people who don't follow these instructions very well. My grandmother, and I
Yeah.
tried doing this with her when my grandfather was having surgery, and she was getting them all wrong.
Mhm.
And I'd say, tell me something that you see, and she would tell me something that she felt, and it still worked. And so I wouldn't get caught up in having to do it perfectly right, or them doing it perfectly right. It still puts you back in your body.
When's the last time that you ate?
Hit those chips.
When's the last time that you drank water? What was the coolest thing that you saw yesterday? What's the thing that you're most looking forward to tomorrow? Those can be tricky just because that's still back in your head. Or another weird one is, what's 72 plus 72? Prefrontal cortex. But these things bring them back. If you know tapping, the easy tapping is between the crests of the eyebrows. Right there. If they are on ecstasy, don't do it. I don't know about shrooms.
I wouldn't do it on shrooms either,
Okay.
or CCD or a handful of other things.
So I don't know enough about multiple drugs. If they're baseline between the two, am I correct?
That's a good one.
Yeah. And the other one that I like is it's like 3 fingers up from the breastbone. Is
You're
right
asking
here.
them to do that to themselves.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah.
Self-tapping,
Just clarify,
self-tapping.
sorry. Do this with me, right?
Yeah.
Rather than, can I tap you?
Yeah. No.
So no motorboat, no participant.
Not in sanctuary.
What for somebody who's on ecstasy or mushrooms? What's the concern? Is it too overwhelming?
So it's too much sensory stimulation.
Yeah. Too much sensory stimulation.
Yeah, because the idea with grounding is it gets you out of the past, the future, puts you in the now. The only time to not use it if the now is not safe, right? So if it's not safe, we don't want to bring them there for whatever reason because they don't feel safe in this moment.
Actually comes in waves, and that's the sort of
Right.
thing we can activate a wave and bring you right back up.
Mhm.
Like sometimes use it intentionally.
So grounding is one of the things that we want them to do. And then GTFO. Breathe, ground, go. We love you. Bye. Have fun. You will be amazed at how often people will say, you helped me so much. Oh my God, you made my Flipside go last year. You made it so that I could enjoy Flipside last year. You won't remember them at all. You will have no idea who they are. And they will come up to you at some point and go, 3 years ago, you made it so that I could have a good Flipside. Thank you. I don't remember you. Thank you. That's amazing to hear. So some of the things that we offer, someone to talk to, tissues, cups, water, maps, a view of a map. We don't actually have tons to hand out. We are one of the places that has a trash can. I ask you guys not to make tons of use of that. Like, don't bring your camp's trash to our trash can. And don't let them bring their camp's trash to our trash can. And last year we forgot to take our trash. We were on the move map.
Oh.
We forgot. So we're going to try to make sure that doesn't happen this year. A chair, a art or puke bucket. If it gets activated, contact pets. We hope if they're nauseous, contact pets. We do have a list of signs of heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and shock. So, and that will be posted. And if they are showing any of those, we contact pets right away. The difficulty is pets is going to be a different management this year. They're going to have a EMT on call. I'm not quite sure how pets is going to be
Are they
structured.
going to the first aid thing with the
Oh, like freezer burn was.
So we'll have a place to lie down or sleep for a little while. Coloring materials, art books, a place to put their stuff for a little while, fans, air conditioned area, quiet space, and a car ride home. So record keeping, we do log everybody, even if it's just hippies. The drive-bys, we do record multiple drive-bys. If it is somebody who's coming by multiple times, we just keep ticks. And the reason that we do that is if somebody's coming by multiple times, we kind of want to keep an eye on that and try to figure out what's going on. Maybe they're curious as to what we are, but we want to know what else, something else is going on too. We don't write down names. We don't keep records.
Oh, we don't do names for drive-bys either?
Wendy Brick came down 15 times. We don't write down substances. We never, ever, ever say that somebody is high or drugged or drunk over the radio or even altered. I can't remember.
Disoriented.
Disoriented. We have the disorientation guide. Somebody is disoriented. Usually over the radio, we just say, I need a face-to-face. That needs to be the term that we remember. I need a face-to-face. If somebody says why, please just I need a face-to-face. If we encounter a couple, both of them get their own incident report. We try to be as accurate as possible, and that's just for us and for our records. So try to be accurate and be detailed. We need this information for the next day and for me, so that as I'm going through and I'm trying to see what happened this year, what do we need for next year? What do we need to be trained on? What did we do well? What do I need help with next year? Stuff like that. Visitors, we already went through all of that. Okay, so confidentiality is our gift to the community. There's going to be stuff that you're going to have the desire to go back and talk to your partner or talk to a friend and say, this happened at Sanctuary and it was really heavy. Heavy stuff happened. Stuff come to us because heavy stuff happened to them. They come to us and they talk about it. Heavy stuff happens to us. Take it to somebody else at Sanctuary. We keep it in, what happens in Sanctuary stays in Sanctuary. It does not go to your partner. It's really tempting to take it to your partner and say, yeah, but my partner's my partner and he'll keep it in. No. The only way to keep a secret within two people is if one of them's dead.
And we're not killing anybody.
And yeah, so
That's for rangers.
that's for rangers. Yeah, so if it happens in Sanctuary, it stays in Sanctuary. If something happened that's really heavy and you need to put it down someplace else, take it to your tree or take it to your MHA. I'm gonna say you might not want to take it to another listener. Let's not daisy chain it from listener to listener to listener to listener to listener. Let's bump it up. If it's heavy enough that you need to put it down, let's put it up. Because I know my trees have the experience to hold it. And if it's heavy enough that they need to put it up, then I know my MHAs have the experience to hold it. And if they need to bump it up, I know I have the experience to hold it. Because I hold heavy shit every day. Promise. We've talked about being triggered. We do get some heavy shit. People come, when we come to Flipside, it is an opening experience. The difficulty with opening experiences is it opens a lot of experiences. People come to be opened and don't realize that their childhood trauma can be opened. And when that happens, a lot can come out. And then they come to us. And when they come to us and they open our eyes to a world that we never realized existed, it's part of the reason that I posted the other day the words, God doesn't give us more than we can handle, never comes out of our mouth. Because the people who say that have never seen the side of the world where God has given people more than they can handle. And sometimes the things that people can't handle are coming out at Flipside, and they bring it to us. And then they give it to one of us. and they realize I can't handle this. If you are triggered and you realize I can't handle this, put it down. Give it up. That's why we have up. That's what trees and MHAs are here for. That's what we do.
So what is like a good transition from speaking to someone to realizing that you need to give it to somebody else to leaving the person and getting somebody else? Not, because you can't say, hey, your shit's too heavy for me. I'll be right back while I get somebody. Like, what is a good segue into finding help?
I can't believe how much you've been through. Would you mind if my friend came over and talked with us as well? Yeah. My friend Guru is really amazing and he's really good. Would it be okay if he came and talked to us? And then as they say, but you're just so comforting, be honest and say, I'm hurting so much right now. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm hurting so much right now and I don't know what to say. And I don't want to hurt you. And I know Guru knows more than I do. Be honest and be gentle. That's the best you can do. Is be honest and be gentle. And in general, if you say, would you mind if my friend Guru came over? He's amazing. Guru's just amazing. Can he come over and sit with us too? And then you can say, I'm gonna go grab some water. And it'll usually be a pretty seamless transition.
Makes sense.
Okay. We are almost done. Now we are working on transitioning. That actually is perfect. Thank you. Transitioning out. So we need to leave. I have triggered people because I am too tall. I've had to transition. I've had to get other people to come in because I am too tall. So for some reason, being a tall woman is very intimidating. And honestly, being a tall, forceful woman can be very intimidating for people. So I've had to transition to somebody else. So if you are intimidating or if somebody's struggling with you, that can hurt. It's like a nice little dart to the heart to say, but why don't you like me? I just want to help. Let me love you. That's your issue. That's your storm and your hula hoop. You suck that shit up and let the other person come in and handle it. You don't take it out on the participant that doesn't like you. If you want to give that person a hug, always ask, can I give you a hug? If you guys are friends with me on Facebook, you saw a post on my personal page that said, part of being a therapist is knowing that somebody has to break open in order to heal. Part of what I have to do is break them open. Doing it in the last 10 minutes of a session is not fun. I'm still reeling, right? The last thing that I did was say, can I give you a hug? And he sat there for 30 seconds and went, I don't know. Yes.
It's not a yes.
And then he said, I think I should. I was like, oh, thank God, because I fucking need a hug.
I'm a super huggy individual, and so the whole not. I mean, I always try to be very consensual with hugs, but it wasn't until flip side of the last year where it was so fucking hot, and I would like just come out of the shower, like get a shower, and I was like clean for probably 30 minutes, and some giant sweaty motherfucker come up to me and be like, "So nice to meet you," and just like drench me. And be like, oh God, I understand now. I understand so much.
My personal space was dry moments ago.
I feel like with participants too, if you frame it as when you like a hug, it makes it more about them than making it about you wanting to hug or wanting to give them the hug can be good too.
It can be both. It absolutely can be both. It can be, would you like a hug? Or I really need a hug. They're not in it. It's the lead.
Join and lead to follow.
Join and lead to follow. Thank you. Join and lead to follow. I really need a hug. Can I give you a hug? Just like I need some water. Would you like some water? And it's a judgment call. And
Just noticing the defensive state for them being able to put it in different ways. You might get different levels of openness or willingness. If I'm doing something and I'm including you, they're less likely to be defensive than you might need a hug, so I'm willing to give that to you. And so, but both work. It just depends on their space.
I saw, I can't remember if it was a video or a story. It was a dad with a toddler or 4 or 5-year-old in a grocery store, and the kid was just throwing an absolute tantrum, just flat out tantrum. And the dad just stops and went, I need a hug. And the kid went, what? I need a hug. And the kid goes, no. Yes, I need a hug. And the kid's like, fine, and gives him a hug. And about 2 minutes later, the kid like relaxes into the hug. And the dad's like, thank you, I really needed that. And the kid goes, I needed that too. And just calm the tantrum down. So it can be an absolute judgment call. You know, and of course that's a child, but it's a judgment call.
Children and altered hippies aren't that different.
No, they are not in any way, shape, or form. No one but an MHA or a khaki or a ranger should ever put anybody in a physical hold. If it ever gets to the point where somebody has to be put in a physical hold, khaki should be called. And that's like a break. That I mean, would you guys say that's a Code Orange Vest event? Where
In like, what is this person doing? Why are they?
they're aggressive, throwing fisticuffs. No, probably
It's
not.
I wouldn't say.
Yeah, because you don't need everybody involved.
Yeah, no. Because we only need two.
You don't need a coordinated effort.
Yeah, no, that's only
necessarily.
that's only us. And Code Orange Vest is definitely more than 2 teams.
Or at least like more than 2 people from each team.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. But that is absolutely a break khaki. I need Rangers ASAP if that's now. And MHA better hear that and come running. But nobody but khaki and MHA should be laying hands on people. If a participant in your care becomes violent or expresses violent intentions, call the MHA, call khaki first, honestly. Hopefully the MHA is listening. If not, then call MHA. If the MHA doesn't say khaki or MHA copies as well en route, then call MHA and get an MHA coming. And then the ranger, and then khaki will decide whether to involve actual. Okay, transitioning from rangers or pets. Okay, so if rangers want to transition from some to us, we would prefer that if rangers want to bring somebody to us, that we go to them. We don't want rangers to necessarily bring somebody to sanctuary just because if we have somebody in sanctuary already and rangers comes to sanctuary, now we have, tree, maybe 2 listeners, 2 khaki, 1 or 2 participants, another participant, all at sanctuary, and that's pretty busy. So if we have rangers calling for sanctuary, ask them what their location is, we go to them, and then we will see if we need to bring the participant to sanctuary. It would be better that we decide whether they need to come to sanctuary than rangers. And rangers can be triggering to people just because they can be seen as the man. So it is best that we go to rangers, we determine the situations, and sometimes just us going there, we are actually gonna try and have rangers paired up with, sanctuary paired up with rangers, and half the time that'll just decrease the need for people to come to sanctuary anyway. But we are gonna go to rangers. We are going to see if they even need to come to sanctuary or if we can de-escalate the situation there. If they do, then sanctuary will bring them to, listeners will bring them to sanctuary, and that way we don't have the chaos of so many people, right? If participants show aggression, if genitals are uncovered, there are no genitals in sanctuary. We have participants. Last time I got a nice little shot in the booty. I stole some of the nice little shorts that they had. I was like, do I have to give these shorts back? And they said, no, if you don't want to. So I took them home and washed them. And I also stole 2 pairs out of the cupboard. So we have some really lovely, lovely, lovely medical shorts. And we have some scrubs. And if anybody has any scrubs that they would like to donate to participants, they can. So we have participants that we can go, hey, unfortunately, we don't allow genitals in sanctuary. Would you do whatever you like with them when you are done here? But yeah, if they refuse to put anything on, we do need to get rangers involved. And if they are showing sexualized behaviors, of course, if they are touching you in a way that you are uncomfortable with, you do not have to allow touch. Consent is a thing for us too. You do not have to allow touch in any way, shape, or form. If they want to put your hand on you and you are uncomfortable with it, you say, please take your hand off of me. I am not comfortable with that. Oh, but I do not consent to that. But your sanctuary, I am, and I'm here to help. I do not have to help you by letting you touch me. If they keep scooting closer to you, push it up. Push it up, push it up, push it up. If they continue to do it, get rangers involved. Sexualized behavior, even if it is hinted sexualized behavior, is not allowed in sanctuary. We do have very many pretty people. He, she, theys. We have very many attractive people in sanctuary. Sexualized behavior is not allowed in sanctuary. And because we are helpers, we are seen as weak. We are not weak, I promise. Tree needs to contact the MHA if there's homicidal or suicidal language immediately. They need to call the MHA. If there is assault, either sexual or physical on an adult, sexual assault on a child or adult, child abuse, or if a person does not know who they are, where they are, when they are, or why they are there, if they're not oriented ×4. I don't know who I am, where I am, when I am, or why I'm here. That is also a pets issue. That is a larger issue indicating probably that they are either on a substance or that they may be in heat exhaustion or shock. If they are distressed to the point of aggression, then while they are distressed to the point that they need sanctuary assistance, they are not allowed in sanctuary. We can't have sanctuary be unsafe. It is a place of safety.
Safety is not negotiable.
Safety is not negotiable. Sometimes confusion, dehydration, dosing, and other intoxication can cause combativeness. So we do work with pets and rangers to determine the underlying cause of their combativeness. If we get fluids and food into them, will they calm down? Anyone that cannot consent to their own entry into sanctuary does not get to be dumped on us. Hey, this person's unconscious. Can they go into the AC? That would be a no. That would be a big fat no. And if somebody's been vomiting in the last 30 minutes, 13 minutes, hey, can this person come rest in your AC? They're covered in puke. That would be a no. Yeah, but they just need some. No. That is a biohazard. We cannot handle the biohazard. How about they go rest in your AC area, pets? You have one too. If a friend wants to come dump their person off, the friend needs to stay with them. We are not babysitters. We ain't no raver daycare. Friends need to stay. If somebody needs to come and have a safe, quiet place to sit, that's fine. Their friend needs to come safely, quietly sit with them. But they just need a safe, quiet place to sit. That's great. You sit there, your happy ass down with them. But no, I'm gonna go, nope. If they're staying, you're staying. Otherwise, they're going with you. That is not how this works. We are not babysitters. Don't be afraid to be the heavy. Otherwise, you will have the worst shift ever. When to call in pets. And again, I will have this list out. Rapid shallow breathing, cold, clammy, pale skin. This is hard to tell if you can't touch them. Loss of consciousness, vomiting, dizziness or fainting, throbbing headache. It may just be a headache or they may have a migraine, but it can be part of heat stroke, especially combined with lack of sweating and high heat. Red, hot, dry skin with no sweating. Not oriented times for person, place, time, or situation. If they indicate that they are altered in any way or appear altered, they must be cleared by pets. We can walk them over to pets or have pets come to sanctuary for an assessment, even though I know that they're just first aid. Participant complains of shortness of breath or that they cannot breathe. We can just shortly try press your big toe into the ground and see if it helps. If pressing your big toe into the ground doesn't help, pets. If you have any concerns about bringing someone to sanctuary, never hesitate to kick it up. We do offer our space to other departments when spillover begins to occur. It's going to be the tree's judgment call as to whether or not we are becoming a dumping ground or whether or not it is an assistance situation. So it's a total judgment call. So actual is the name of the LLC member on call. There is an LLC member on call 24/7. If you hear actual, somebody's name on the radio, that's who they're calling. There are certain situations that have to be kicked to actual. A missing child abuse, physical assault, sexual assault. There's a couple other things that are in the tree training and the MHA training that have to be kicked up to actual
Dosing.
dosing have to be picked up. But in general, listeners do not have to worry about that because that is tree and MHA territory. If there is hypersexuality, call for khaki and ask for a ranger to come. If somebody's being super sexual, that is not fun for us, and so we ask for help. And there are no genitals in sanctuary.
So one last quick question on that, but not the genital part. The things that we need to keep track, the things that need to be put up higher. What are sort of the baseline things that we should always specifically talk to the tree about as quickly as possible? Because they're things that are tracked. I ask this because like I've had some experience. I was involved in one situation where they were trying to figure out what had happened because they were getting a bunch of people with similar symptoms. So what are the particular signs that we need to make sure that are getting centralized so that we can track, so that they're being tracked at the right level?
That sounds like a dosing.
That's what I mean, yeah. But the thing is, you won't necessarily know if you see one person. You won't know that there may have been other people who have come in with similar symptoms. It's the tracking the pattern issue that I'm asking about.
Okay. So ultimately it would be, do you know, we go back to the ground control of, do you know where you got your substance from?
Okay.
No, I have no idea what I took or where I got it from.
Then it needs to go up.
That is mandatory reporting. Yeah.
Also for pattern tracking and everything, whether dosing or whatever, I imagine that the tree has a good idea of everything that has happened in sanctuary during their shift, whether or not they're aware of it at the time. So
And previous shifts too from the logs.
exactly. So it might not be like an immediate like, wait a minute, this person, but communicating after the fact, I would think.
But yeah, ultimately the pattern will show up, but the initial dosing is going to be the thing that we report because we might not know of the pattern because only one person came to us, but 2 people might have gone to pets and then somebody went to khaki and then somebody went to K-Flip and then K-Flip told, and then actual went and talked to somebody at K-Flip and now we're starting to see the pattern because it's been communicated to actual multiple times.
Can you give me a scenario of like,
Can you say what you're saying louder for that?
yeah, can you give a scenario of kicking it up? Because there's like, I'm with a participant, they're having this big experience and like, you gave that, but like they're like calling khaki or something like that, where it's like 2 of you and you need to radio somebody.
So,
What would you say to them?
okay, so Pleasure and I are out and I forgot your call sign.
Bunny.
And Bunny is give me a scenario. What's wrong with Bunny?
Bunny is incoherently speaking and not sure why.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is she's not oriented. I'm going to go over to Bunny and I'm going to see if she can tell me who she is. And she can't tell me who she is. And she can't tell me what camp she's from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, would you do me a favor and would you call Pets? Because he's got the radio. And would you show her how to do that for me?
Well, first listen. Who's talking? Pets, pleasure.
Go for pets.
Do you say pets again? I actually can't remember. No, did you just go there?
You just go.
Okay. We have someone who is disoriented, and I am with Firefox at this location.
Need a face-to-face.
Need a face-to-face.
You are at chair camp and you need a face-to-face, copy that en route.
Thank you. Pleasure out.
That's out.
I think my concern is like with someone and you're like, hey, I need it. And then they're like, wow, what are you doing? Or like, why are you telling them what I'm experiencing? Or just sort of,
My favorite answer for that
does
is
that ever happen?
like, I need to update my lead, right? Because they know that we have it. Well, they may not, but like, I need to update my lead, even if it's about something that happened just before you got here. Do you mind if Bunny comes and sits with you while I do that? Or I have to go to the bathroom, right? And being able to even just flag somebody down and say like,
And you also should have a partner with you that's aware of what's going on. And if you know it needs to be escalated, they should know it needs to be escalated and be taking care of that for you. It should be very rare that you're the only one aware of what's going on.
Sometimes it's as simple as a look, like,
Right.
oh, yeah.
And that's, and that's the thing, because you are never, ever, 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 ever alone. Hopefully it isn't as blatant as, dude, she's obviously altered. Can you go call pets? And then, what? I'm not altered. What are you talking about? So, right, it's just gonna be a fairly subtle, I'm gonna go talk to her. It looks like we're gonna need pets. Can you call pets in? Or, hey, it looks like she's pretty upset. We're probably gonna need khaki just in case. Can you call khaki in? And if it's a just in case scenario, I don't care if we call in too many people and we didn't need them.
They were looking for something.
Yeah, they're
to do
bored.
anyway.
They were rangering a chair someplace anyway. If rangers are watching this, I don't think that you are not doing anything. I promise. I know that you're doing something.
Parents do nothing.
And I mean, to be fair, I mean, I have certainly sanctuaried some tacos on Mobile Sanctuary.
I have absolutely sanctuaried some bacon. We never sanctuary any alcohol ever
while you're on shift.
while you're on shift. Well, then we're not sanctuarying anything because we're on shift. So does that help answer that question?
yeah, I think there's just the whole like too many people component, and like if I'm the one talking to them and they're kind of hanging out, it's harder, but
So-
I think it feels more clear now.
It's much more natural when it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Than the,
One of the things I'll do is I'll try to be in the line of sight of my person, not necessarily the line of sight of the participant, but the partner. I want them to be able to see me, and then I can do things like reading, and they can, that's all it needs, and I'll get something.
And the only time that it starts to feel like there's too many people is if it's in a tent or in sanctuary.
Yeah.
So the one time that I was kicked out of a situation because it was too many people was I was called into somebody's tent. And the participant said, she looked at me and said, your energy is disturbing. You need to leave. And I was like, oh.
no.
Okay.
And then you go back to sanctuary and get sanctuary yourself.
And I left. She would, and I can't say why because then I'd be breaking confidentiality and all of that stuff. But yeah, my energy is big and I am big, and so I took my big energy and left. And I could understand because what she was experiencing.
I'm sure that was like difficult to hear, but I'm really proud of her for speaking her needs like that. That's real nice.
Yes. Yes.
one of the things I do, and I'm trying to be particularly conscious of this because I have a loud voice, I'm a guy, is I try to be to the side of a participant, and pretty far back if the other person is talking to them. Because if I'm standing behind my partner, then I look like I'm watching. And if I'm behind them, they might they might look over their shoulder and see this shadowy figure behind them, and that's not great. So you try to be somewhere where they can know you're there, but not feel like you're directly in their space. You're just sort of hanging out with your partner who's trying to help.
Right. And so when you are out roaming, because we have a ton of space, it does feel a lot more natural. And even if there's 4 people there, you know, you're interacting and there's a lot of space, and it does feel a lot more natural. Even if there's 4 of you on one person, it's a lot easier.
So I've definitely been in situations where the Rangers have showed up and they're like going, I'm like, no.
Oh man, I think
Don't charge in. Don't charge in. Please don't charge in.
in golf last year, there were cops on site and like fully uniformed police officers, and they started walking up into sanctuary. We're like, excuse me, would you mind, sir? They're like, David, could you please tell these cops to leave?
Absolutely.
I will matter of factly tell them to leave.
I will go sanctuary the police.
Yeah. I intercepted them before they even got in the tent. Like, please, no. They make me feel unsafe.
Alrighty, so that is trunk training. Yay, we have that done. Before I end it officially, do we have any more questions?
Is there something on the? I see a comment on the screen, I think.
Let me see. Must reports are also on the back of lambs. There we go.
Aha.
Thank
Very
you.
useful.
So the must reports are also on the back of lambs. And the lambs will have, the 5-fold plan of ICS. Thank you. There we go. The must reports will have, can I steal this real quick and I'll go sit down? So there we go. I did not bring my glasses in here. Must report will have absent child, found child, which means parent is missing, child or elder abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, non-consensual physical violence, medical emergency, psychiatric emergency, a volunteer likely in harm's way, anyone in non-consensual grave danger. A child is anyone 18 years old, less than 18 years old, and elder is somebody 65 years old or older.
I love it. Consensual grave danger is okay.
I am trying to think what consensual grave danger looks like.
Most of my life.
Circle of Fire, we have done some things that, there's danger involved.
Alrighty, so I will call this an official end to trunk training. We are going to have a few people hang out for ICS training. If anybody that is watching now wants to hang out for ICS training, you are all welcome to. If not, it will also be available later online. Yay, internet. So thank you.